Have you ever felt a presence, a chill in a room where you're all alone? A question that echoes in the corridors of my mind as I sit here, a patient in a mental hospital. This hospital, my temporary home, is a place that time seems to have forgotten. The days are long, punctuated by the shrill ring of mealtimes and the hushed whispers of doctors who think they know what's best for us. My world, for the most part, is white. White walls, white sheets, white clothes. Even the food sometimes feels like it's been bleached of all color and flavor. But I digress. This is not a story about the mundane existence of life in a mental hospital. No, this is a tale of something far more sinister. It happened on a day like any other. The sun was struggling to pierce through the thick fog that often blankets the hospital grounds. It was then, in the solitude of my room, that I first felt it. A chilling sensation that crawled up my spine, making every hair on my body stand on end. It was as if the room had suddenly dropped a few degrees and I was standing in the heart of winter. Then came the shadow. It was there, at the corner of my eye, a formless figure that seemed to dance and flicker with the shadows. Each time I turned to look, it would disappear, leaving me questioning my own sanity. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, came the whisper. It was a faint echo at first, like a breeze rustling through the leaves. But then it grew louder, a hiss in the silence that seemed to drown out all other sounds. It was a voice, cold and emotionless, that seemed to vibrate with an energy that was not of this world. And then it spoke to me, a voice colder than winter. You're not alone. How do you convince someone of the impossible? That was the question that haunted me each day, a nagging echo in the back of my mind. I tried to share my encounters with the hospital staff, but they would dismiss me with a wave of their hand, a roll of their eyes, a sigh of exasperation. I told them about the apparition, the spectral figure that haunted the long, sterile corridors of the hospital. I spoke of his cold, hollow stare, the way his icy fingers would trace the air, chilling everything in their path. I described his unsettling grin, a twisted mockery of joy that sent shivers down my spine. I recounted the whispers, the hushed murmurs that filled the silence, whispers of regret, sorrow, and malice. But the nurses, the doctors, the other patients, they just shook their heads. They told me it was my imagination, a figment of my troubled mind. They said it was the medication, the side effects of my treatment. They claimed it was my condition, my mental state playing tricks on me. I tried to convince them, to make them see the truth, but they wouldn't listen. They laughed, they mocked, they dismissed my pleas. They told me I was seeing things, hearing things, feeling things that weren't there. They told me it was all in my head, but I knew better. I knew it wasn't my mind playing tricks on me. I knew it wasn't the medication or the side effects. I knew it wasn't my imagination or my condition. I knew it was real as the cold, hard floor beneath my feet, as real as the sterile white walls that surrounded me. I knew it was real because I could feel it, feel the cold seeping into my bones, feel the dread crawling up my spine, feel the fear gripping my heart. I knew it was real because I could see it, see the ghostly figure lurking in the shadows, see the twisted grin, see the hollow stare. I knew it was real because I could hear it, hear the whispers, hear the murmurs, hear the malice. They told me it was all in my head, but the chill in my bones knew the truth. What do you do when your enemy is invisible to the world? Imagine living in a world where your adversary is unseen, unheard, and unfelt by those around you. This was the chilling reality for our patient, a lone soldier in a war against a malevolent specter. As the days turned into weeks, the ghost grew more wicked, more ruthless. It was relentless in its torment, manifesting not just in the dead of night, but in the light of day, during mealtimes, therapy sessions, even in the fleeting moments of solitude in the hospital's garden. It was like a shadow, forever attached to her, forever following her. Our patient tried everything to escape its clutches, to evade its haunting presence. She would sleep with the lights on, surround herself with people, even tried to confide in the hospital chaplain. But the ghost was like a plague, a parasite that fed on her fear and despair. It was always there, waiting, lurking, biding its time until it could strike again. She tried to fight it. Oh, how she tried. She would shout at it, throw objects at it, anything to make it stop. But how do you fight something that isn't physically there? How do you battle a foe that the world says doesn't exist? It was like trying to punch a mist, to grapple with the wind. Each futile effort only left her more drained, more defeated. Her strength waned, her spirit crumbled under the relentless assault. Her eyes, once vibrant and full of life, now held a haunted look. The ghost was winning, and it reveled in her downfall. So there she was, a lone warrior in a silent battleground, fighting an unseen enemy. An enemy that reveled in her fear, her despair, her loneliness. An enemy that was invisible to everyone but her. I was at war with a ghost, and I was losing. When you're cornered, the only way out is through. This is the moment our protagonist, a patient in a mental hospital, decides she's had enough. Enough of the fear, enough of the uncertainty, enough of the disbelief. It's time to face her spectral assailant head-on. Armed with a newfound determination, she begins to delve into the hospital's past. The antiquated records room, a labyrinth of forgotten stories and faded ink, becomes her sanctuary. Each dusty ledger, each brittle page, holds the potential to unlock the ghost's identity, to reveal the history that binds this malevolent spirit to the hospital's cold, sterile walls. Hours turn into days as she sifts through countless records. The names of former patients, doctors, nurses, and staff members blur together, an endless sea of forgotten faces. Our protagonist is searching for a needle in a haystack, a single name among thousands. Yet, she perseveres, driven by the desperate hope that knowledge might be her weapon against the unseen. As the days pass, she becomes a detective of the hospital's dark past, piecing together fragments of information, searching for a pattern, a connection, something that might explain the ghost's malevolent nature. Is it a former patient, its spirit trapped within the hospital's oppressive walls? Or perhaps a disgruntled staff member, its ethereal form seeking revenge for perceived wrongs? Her persistence pays off. After what feels like an eternity, she stumbles upon a name that sends a shiver down her spine. It's not the name itself that startles her, but the circumstances surrounding it. The name is linked to a series of unfortunate events, a string of tragedies that seems to echo the ghost's patterns. The realization sends a chill through her, a mix of terror and triumph. The ghost is no longer an unknown entity, a faceless monster lurking in the shadows. It has a name, a story, a past. She's not fighting a ghost anymore. She's fighting a person with a name. I had a name, a weapon against my invisible enemy. In the end, we all have our demons to face. The words hung heavy in the air, like the last note of a haunting melody. Our patient, a woman of steel beneath her fragile appearance, found herself standing at the precipice of her final confrontation. In the heart of the institution, where the walls echoed with tales of despair and redemption, she stood her ground. The ghost, malevolent as ever, emerged from the shadows. It was a chilling presence, a specter of dread that filled every corner of the room. But she was ready. She had come too far to back down now. With a voice that was a blend of courage and desperation, she called out to the ghost, invoking its name. The name, a powerful tool in her hands, was like a shockwave in the spectral world. The ghost recoiled, its form wavering, but it was far from defeated. The struggle that followed was a dance of light and shadow, a battle of wills played out in the twilight space between the living and the dead. The patient, our heroine, clung to her resolve. She was the embodiment of human spirit, refusing to yield to the spectral terror. The climax of the struggle was a moment etched in time, a tableau of defiance and victory. She banished the ghost, her voice resonating with the power of her conviction. The specter, once a formidable adversary, was reduced to nothing more than a wisp of smoke, fading away into oblivion. The aftermath of the confrontation was a sight to behold. The hospital staff and patients who had once doubted her could no longer deny the reality they witnessed. The physical effects of the struggle were evident, the tangible proof of an unseen battle. I faced my demon, and I won. The ghost was gone, but the chill in my bones remained, a reminder of my unseen battle. She had triumphed over her spectral adversary, but the echoes of the confrontation lingered, a chilling reminder of the struggle she had endured. Y'all, we're wrapping up here, but don't you go anywhere just yet. Show some love, hit that like button. Fancy more content like this? Go on, subscribe and let that bell icon ring so you won't miss a beat. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, sharing is caring. Until next time, stay tuned.